Hello and welcome back to the Minetrek.net game server over here on the Voyager. It's completed. It took us a while, but we're finally done with it. It's a little smaller than we thought, but yeah, overall, it's not. Oh wait, this is the wrong Voyager. My bad. That's the one we're working on. It's not complete. What is complete though is I did get all of the deck mapping in, so we now have all of the deck maps are in. Yeah, well, for the part that we are going to work on. Everything has to be mirrored, but there's a lot of center sections of the ship that can't be mirrored, so they have to be actually mapped out independently, and then when the ship's mirrored, these sections have to be reintegrated into the ship, i.e., the security stations got different side from port to starboard, so we have to pull the port side out, mirror it, then stick the port side in, and all that fun stuff and whatnot. Been pretty busy. Finally did do some hull rework. I had to move these escape pods down, and that fixed that issue with the windows that Shadow Appler was having. And I also moved these down, and I moved the landing gear back and down just a tad. And by doing that, I was able to properly place the escape pod entrances. And let's get out of here real quick. Yeah, come on. And down here, actually. Oh, no, that was up here. My bad. Able to get the corridor where it needed to go. That's important. And come through here. So I was able to fix that corridor. So now that corridor actually goes where it's supposed to go. I was able to align these right here, plus access all the windows on this deck, the escape pods, and then if we come down here and come out, let's find that little cutout office space right here, this one right here. The escape pod is actually correctly located now. It's no longer blocking this window. And same thing with this one down here. Like I said, we can access this one as well, instead of having to get to it in a very perfunctory way. And there is the landing gear. Typically the landing gear is actually further back and down, but yeah, Voyager. But yeah, that's all been in. And I'll tell you that, I mean, once I moved those escape pod hatches, everything just lined up like a dream. And I have to admit that I really wish I would have done that sooner. Also, laid in up here, I replaced that phaser strip that I broke and set it all back up in there that Blue Phobes created. And what else have we been doing? Well, we have our escape pods. They did the Aero shuttle, and its landing bay or housing bay is all done up and whatnot. Looks pretty good. And I laid in some tank work. Kind of goes around there, but of course that's when we discovered, oops, windows. I love those. And up here, I laid in this up here. This is going to be like a little grotto, a little, just a, or another stellar tarkography, whatever they decide to put that room as. But I laid in the sensor machine stuff. As you can see, it actually hides that bulge really well. You got your processing unit, sensor processing unit. Again, this is just a mock-up. I mean, it could be subject to change. And if you look up here, I laid in all that stuff up there for the sensors. Now, I can't do a lot more because the sensor itself is different from port to starboard. As you can see, it, I just can't mirror it because it has a different section on the side here and all that stuff. So I actually cannot complete that until the rest of the deck is mirrored over. And I don't think we're going to do that right off because this deck still is under review, partially under review. So we're just going to hold off on doing that for now. But hopefully we'll get it all done. I extended out a turbolift to this side over here because it needed it. It actually needed it to have it there. Then I dropped it down, of course, and it comes all the way over to here. So these turbolifts were much needed extensions. Very important to have good turbolift access on a ship like this size. Alright, so let's buzz on down here. Now the saucer, the primary hull, doesn't have enough space to do what I did down here. I'm about to show you on the drive hull. It only has a 2 space high section through here So most of that's going to be filled like with this stuff here, like with ribbing. I don't think I'm going to do what I'm about to show you that I did down here. I cannot do it up here. It just wouldn't look good. So come down here. I mean, I can do something. I mean, if push comes to shove, I can set something up. I just, yeah, don't particularly think it's a good idea to try and do it. All right, so let's come down here and I will show you what I did right here. I have enough space between the height of this deck and the bottom of this deck to fit in a Jeffries tube network. So that's what I did. I placed in a Jeffries tube network that goes from the very front of the drive hall all the way back around the parking bay, and you can even has access to the nacelle, which is why we're going this way, because I'll show you here. But yeah, it goes all the way back and around, has access to the back as well. And we can come here and we can drop down, and I can show you that the conduit comes into the nacelle through this swivel point, which is this thing. And of course we know that this strut goes up and comes down and whatnot, but so this is an actual pivot joint. And I went ahead and I laid in this and designed this with a crossover for the conduit, and then back in through here is just a bunch of gears and stuff that maneuver or turn the strut or the pylon and everything else. It basically allows it to swivel up and swivel back down. So all that's been done. Now, not much has been done in here, but up here they have multiple versions, and I, honest to God, I have no idea what one they're working on. It varies. You got an empty one here, and I'm these guys, they need to get rid of all this extra crap. There's just too much of this extra crap up here. It's just needs to go bye-bye. They're not using it. It needs to leave. And so I guess this is the one they're working on, because there's the cylinder that I mocked up. You can see it. Looks pretty good on the outside. It also has bracing on the inward section. I was going to do the bracing on this side, but the guys are working with all of this stuff up through here and things like that, so I won't be able to do all the bracing and stuff that I did do on the other side. I can probably mock it up, but who knows. And this is pretty much all they've done. Not sure what else is going on with it, but yeah, I'm sure that's being worked on, and you get these things here obviously, and a bunch of other components over here being worked on. I said, yeah, we got to put a work bee in here. I was kind of messing around with the guys last night, so kind of causing them some stress. I may have broke someone. I don't know. Probably. My jokes can get a little hard. But yeah, I come through here. M. Heller widened out the hangar door. So come through here. I kind of anticipated that the door was going to get modified, so I left in a potential for moving a wall on the inside. Whoops, bumped my mouse there looking at something. So I actually triple walled this section through here, and we did end up widening, she did end up widening the doors, so I just moved the walls over and ate up that third rail right there. It was a blue, see, you can see it right there. There's that blue line right there. Anyway, so that means the hangar is just a little bit wider going in and out, which is fine. That gives us a little bit extra room and whatnot for, I guess, the Delta Flyer and Neelix's little whatever you want to call it and whatnot. But yeah, the hangar's all set up. This was kind of one of those things when I was working on it, I was like, oh man, this is just not working out the way it did on the old Voyager. The old Voyager was a real pair to work on. This one's been pretty decent. It's just, because of the scaling, things have been a little bit off. So things that line up over on the old Voyager, like Jeffries tubes and stuff, they don't necessarily line up in the same places on this build. So I've been kind of working around that a little bit. Anyways, we have a fabrication area right here, and then of course we have the big one over here, the Magic Shuttle Manufacturing and Fabrication Unit. So whenever they blew up a shuttle, they would just come over here, boop, make a new one. Yep. Just 3D print it, I guess. I don't know, or replicate it, who knows. Then we have the massive parking bay. much nicer than the previous Voyager, and a lot of space, work bees, and all these arrowhead shuttles and whatnot can fit through here. So it's coming together pretty good, I'm a lot more relaxed about the build now that some of the stuff's out of the way, and guess for the most part, I mean, they can begin work on it on the interior. I mean, decks and all that stuff can start to be mirrored. Of course, we got to make sure that we get the center sections in correctly before, because believe you me, if I don't watch that, they'll just mirror the deck and go, oh hey, it's all done, and come in here and it'll be like, hey, this isn't the way it's supposed to be. So yeah, got to be very careful about that. And somebody's been working on the main engineering area here, kind of plugging away with it, looks like, trying to anyways, and playing in this section anyways. Probably Blue Phobes. Blue Phobes looks like something Blue Phobes would be working on. Yeah. But also, I did some modifications through here. I decided that I wanted. It was kind of a. I can't understand whether it'd be a turbo lift on the port on the starboard side, but not one for the port side. So you have to go all the way from the port side all the way over to the starboard side to access a turbo lift, and I didn't like that. So what I did is I ran it across the top here, and then I went ahead and moved a couple of things around, and so now you have access to the port side with the turbo lift, at least on this side, this back section of the ship. And then of course you got the central turbo lift right there, and this turbo lift actually extends down past this engineering deck into this section right here on both sides, and that's about as far down as I can get it to go, because after that it runs into the landing gear, and then there's no reason to be back in here with the turbo lift. This is all engineering stuff. Added the tractor beam and I guess the flusher unit for dumping whatever these things here are. Atypically these would be right over the top of this, but I moved them back so we'd have more space, in the main engineering and whatnot. They can always be moved forward again, and the space were used for something else. It's plenty of space to do that. Plenty of space to move them forward if we wanted to do that. I'll leave that up to M. Heller, but I did pipe them into this unit right here, so they can still flush. But if we want to move them forward, we can easily move them forward. It's no big deal. I just put them back because I wanted more space up in here, and if we were to align them with this right here, it would basically put them right there, or right there actually, which is still a lot of space. But I mean, they can come forward if they want, if the guys want to move them forward or not. It's up to how they decide to do the engineering and what M. Heller decides. But, and then of course they would be moved forward up here as well. Now, if they did, I can, because if it does get moved forward, then I just reroute the turbo lift behind it, so it doesn't matter. I mean, the turbo lift can get moved and whatnot, so don't even worry about all that. But yeah, it's slow going, not real slow going. I mean, we got all the decks in 2 weeks. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. But yeah, well, so far so good. We're trying to plug away on it. We'll eventually get more and more of these ship systems built and whatnot. This thing's going to be interesting to build. I know I've already done it once before. Well, I've done it 5 times because I've done 5 Voyagers. So technically, this will be the 6th Voyager I think I've made. So yeah, I should be familiar with how to do that. Then again, everything's new. So who knows? Who knows? But yeah, thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next video. If you'd hit that like button for me, that'd be great. If not, don't worry about it. Y'all have a great day. Bye-bye.